Yes. Oh, you know that's on me. It's time for In the Paddock F1. Greeny and the cheese. Race 2 of the 2026 F1 season takes us to Asia. Shanghai. It's the Chinese Grand Prix. Shanghai is one of the world leading centers for. I'm going to take a deep breath before I fire all these off. Finance, business, economics, research, science and technology, manufacturing, transportation, tourism, and culture, sir. That's a lot of crap going on there.
There's a lot going on in Shanghai.
The world's busiest container port is also the port of Shanghai. Shanghai is home to 24.8 million people. And while you're there, you might want to check out the Bond Waterfront Promenade along the Huangpu River. Check out Pearl Tower to get some nice views of the city. And while you're there, why the heck not? Might as well check out Shanghai Disneyland. But this ain't no travel show. This is an F1 show. And we are racing the Shanghai International Circuit, 16 corners, 3.39 miles, 4 active aero zones. Yeah, we got that new term for this year. You give it the full beans for 58% of your lap. And oh man, we got a little excitement again at the beginning here, but here we go. Kimi had pole. The youngest driver to ever have pole in a Formula One race. How about them apples? The Ferraris got off to a quick start, as they do, but the Mercs were just too quick in the end, as Kimi Antonelli takes his maiden win, the second youngest to grab the top step in a Grand Prix, and only his 26th F1 start. Think about that. George Russell's teammate took second for the Merc 1-2, and Lewis Hamilton returns to the podium. His first in a Ferrari. We got a lot to unpack after this one, let me tell you. A lot to unpack. We are caffeinated. We are medicated. Greeny, good day, sir.
Good day, Cheese, and thank you all for joining us as always in the Paddock F1, Greeny and the Cheese. Like, subscribe, hit us up in the paddock@gmail.com if you want to join the program. And of course, it was I think we're just continuing down this road of new era of racing. As I forgot to turn my light on here, but we'll do that. This new era of racing, and what do we get out of it right away? We get Kimi Antonelli, the youngest driver ever to, at 19 years old, destroyed the record, too. It wasn't even close. I mean, he beat it by almost 2 years. As far as becoming the youngest driver ever to win a race. I'm not going to go through all the details of that because there might be some Quizmaster Cockpit questions about Kimi Antonelli's historic...
To get pole, he was the youngest. To get pole, he was the second youngest to win a Grand Prix.
To get pole, he was the youngest. This is true, yes. But I'm sorry, there was something... I don't want to give too much away because I'm sure one of these is going to be in the Quizmaster Cockpit. But anyway, Mercedes is back. Toto Wolff is pumped. He was super pumped because he said we finished 1, 2, 3, as he's still claiming Lewis Hamilton as one of his own, number 44. So, to round out the podium, and a historic day for Lewis Hamilton as well. Geez, so... quite a historic podium. I was really impressed that Kimi Antonelli held off the field, was able to stay ahead significantly at times. Mm-hmm. You know, he was almost 10 seconds ahead with 3 laps to go before he turned off at turn 14 down the stretch and made it a little closer. Maybe a little young in nerves. Maybe a little that, but yeah, all hail Kimi Antonelli, hell of a job, and Mercedes is 2 races in on top of the world. We've lost a couple races. We'll talk about that later because there will be no races in April because of the conflict, war, whatever you want to call it in the Middle East. But it'll be a no race April. That is guaranteed, so that is definitely something that came in just yesterday. So... a lot to unpack here, Cheese. I see. Let's get to the race first. Is Mercedes just full on back? This is a Silver Arrow season, and everyone else is going to be in the dust? Or is the battery era that is upon us going to throw us another curveball, maybe give teams a chance in April to really revamp into Miami in May. Things got very interesting over the last 48 hours in Formula One. Let's unpack it. Go ahead.
It's definitely back right now. I mean, through two races and two Grand Prix and a sprint race, they have completely dominated. So I don't see anybody catching up to them anytime soon, to be quite honest. I mean, they have pretty much hit it out of the ballpark right off the bat. Even just through two races, they are just that far ahead of everybody else right now. It's plain and simple. I mean, Ferrari is closer in race pace, but they're still not quick enough. The Mercs are just that damn good right now. They hit the power unit. Maybe that compression ratio is just that much better, and that's why Ferrari's going back to the drawing board and try and build a new engine for this season too. So maybe that has something to do with it. But they've just hit it. They're on it. They were everybody's favorite going in, and they proved to be the car right now. I mean, we've seen it with Red Bull in the past, and then Mercedes before that in the last two streaks going of teams or drivers winning the drivers' title. So, I mean, even McLaren last year was predicted to be the best car, and they're just the best car right now. Teams got a lot to catch up. That month off might, give teams some chance to catch up a little bit, but also gives Merc the time to progress their car as well. So there's definitely things that they can work on. Turning the tires on quicker was definitely one you could see in today's race with the cooler temperatures. It seems they still have the cooler temperature thing, but they're just that much far ahead of everybody else that it really didn't play that much into it once they got the tires, the hard tires fired up after the safety car. So they're just that far ahead. Ferrari's definitely a clear second right now for sure.
And Red Bull's a shit show, and McLaren is turning into a shit show themselves. So it looks like we have 1-2 well out ahead, and it looks like even third place in the constructors at the moment. I'm sure Red Bull and Max Verstappen for sure, and McLaren will find their footing at some point. But the top two seem to be solidified. Number one, number two, at least at this moment. Again, I'm still sticking with my prediction that we're not going to know anything until qualifying in Miami, which I believe will be the most telling quality of the season. We'll see, but I think even more so now, with having April off, that either teams are going to retool, rethink, refresh, whatever it might be. Totally unprecedented. We're going to have two breaks this year. We're going to have the summer break and the spring break. So really, really interesting. But yeah, I think I understand what you're saying. I think Mercedes is clearly number one and Ferrari's clearly number two, and the rest of the field is totally up in the air, at least for the next 5 teams, including Alpine and Haas. I'm sure we'll get to a lot of Ollie B later. And you want to throw Racing Bulls in there, you can throw a lot of teams in there, but who knows what's going to happen in outside of the top two. But that could all change as well. We've seen Ferrari start out hot many times before and completely fall flat on their Tifosi face many of times. So they might finish 4th this year. Who the hell knows? Max Verstappen, you never know what's going to happen week to week with him. He can go on a run where he can win 3 out of 4 races, even in a mediocre car, which it looks like Red Bull has.
They have power plant issues right now.
They are mediocre. They're looking like a mid-pack team right now. Yeah. And so, but most of the field, outside of Aston Martin, Williams, and Cadillac, at the back of the field, clearly, and then Ferrari and Mercedes at the front of the field, the 6 teams in the middle, you can put them 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in any order right now. because I don't know what we're getting between teams 3 through 8. I know we're getting in the back of the pack. We know that. That's a whole dumpster fire in the back. I know we're getting in the front. Ferrari's looking better than they've been in a long time, but Mercedes just is that much better. And the rest of the pack is totally up in the air. Listen, can I get to something that's really pissing me off, by the way? And it's really grinding my gears. I'm sorry, I'm just throwing it in. I know we didn't discuss this. We should be heading to Quizmaster's Cockpit in a moment here. But let me tell you something. How much absolute crap the sprint races are. Okay? All it's doing is creating further separation for the top teams, the mid-pack teams, and the back of the pack. It's just adding a little more point spread every single sprint race you have. Because you're not going to get an Alpine, most likely, or a Haas finishing on podium. You're just going to get the same drivers. You're going to get the same 4 drivers are going to fill the same 3 spots on the podium. And we've seen it over and over and over again. Yes, we've had some anomalies here and there as far as the sprint race is concerned. But for the most part, 95% of the time, the same 3 out of 4 drivers that are going to podium in the sprint race are going to be podium in the race. And that's like a 96% clip or something like that. So, while it's not always like, the same podiums, you still are having 3 of the same 4 drivers on both. It's just pulling a further separation and leaving the mid-pack or struggling teams just further in the dust. There should be something else besides points. I don't know what you want to do, but until the field is more even across the board, all the sprint race does is just pull the teams further apart from each other instead of where you want them. Listen, coming off the fall we had and the excitement, the just absolute excitement every single race. And we saw those numbers on our podcast, and I'm sure all the numbers on the podcast having some of our best numbers ever, the most views ever across the board for all these shows, which meant there was much more interest. Why? Because it was a tight race. And now we're going to keep adding more sprint races and just pulling it apart. Pulling these numbers further and further apart as the universe cheese. I know you love your the idea that the universe and its galaxies are pulling apart slowly and slowly. And that's what we're doing here in F1 with these freaking sprint races. Just unnecessarily padding teams at the top's numbers and pulling teams further back away. And I think we've seen enough sprint races to realize that. Maybe they should get something else. I don't know. Prizes? Free car? Like The Price is Right? And all expenses vacation? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe just cash. It should just be... How about this?
Straight
sprint
cash?
race should just be straight cash. Straight cash. Get some shady casino sponsor. Get your steak back. God forbid we should have the steak guys now not part of the Formula One world. They're doing it. I don't know if you call it. If you've seen Run It, have you seen that yet? Have you seen that? Check that out. That's what Steak's sponsoring now. It's literally 2 guys with footballs running full speed into each other with no pads on and just smashing into each other as hard as they can. But anyway, I digress. Straight cash for the sprint race. I think points are ridiculous, and it just proved it this weekend with Mercedes just getting further out. It was a couple of points, but it was an unnecessary spread for Ferrari. Now Ferrari's already further back than they could be points wise. Even though it's 3, 4, 5 extra points, all those points matter in a 20 with 20 races to go. I don't know, Cheese. That's my rant. You do what you got to do.
I can't really disagree with you with the point spread part, but they like it. Apparently, a lot of fans like this, the extra race. So
that's fine. I don't know, maybe cash. Do something else.
Maybe
I'm not saying get rid of the
reverse the grid then or something. Reverse the grid then. Whatever quality is, and you flip it, and then the fastest cars will start at the back.
But then you just rig quality.
True. Sandbagging for quality.
I mean, is there cash? Just cash.
Straight cash.
Straight cash. Because that'll encourage some teams at the top to potentially retire early if they're not feeling it in their car because they're not racing for points. And it gives the opportunity for maybe a rookie or a young driver to cash in. We just give them a sack of bills with the $sign labeled. I don't even want the big check. Just give them sacks of cash. Then they can dump it all over themselves. And then you get onto the regular qualifying and the rest of the weekend. Do something like that. There's got to be a better way than points. Anyway, after all that, it's time for me to strap on my helmet because you have 3 questions. I have 3 sectors to get through. It's either purple or it's nothing. It is Quizmaster's Cockpit. 3 answers right. We go right into our winners of the week. Only 1 answer wrong, cheese. We go right into our losers of the week, but there's plenty of those to go around. And, of course, if I get all 3 questions wrong, somebody's going to get slapped. And it's going to be me. Quizmaster's Cockpit. Are you ready, sir?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
I guess we will see. Let's go. Question number 1.
Question number 1, sir. Who won the first Chinese Grand Prix in 2004?
Oh, this is a repeat question from last year, too. It's Rubens Barrichello.
That is correct, sir. We have to get a Rubens question in there every year. We have to get a Rubens in there every year.
We don't have too many opportunities for Rubens Barrichello trivia questions, but that is one of them for sure. The inaugural Chinese race.
Question number 2, sir. Kimi Antonelli won today's Grand Prix. When was the last time an Italian won an F1 Grand Prix before today?
Do you want the year, the name, the race? What do you want? What are you looking? What would make you happy? What answer would make you
Give
happy?
me the driver and the year.
It was Giancarlo Fisichella, 2006, in a Renault in Malaysia.
That is correct, sir. That
Bing.
is correct, sir.
You didn't think I would be pulling that one out.
No, I did not.
I'm not going to lie. As soon as I saw an Italian one, I went right into the books. I broke out my Kevin Easton book. Thank you very much. And I went back and I did my homework because I knew you were going to ask that question.
Well,
and now the intensity.
Well, let's see if you're in my head for question number 3.
This could be a fail.
Both McLarens did not start the Grand Prix today. When was the last time that happened?
Ooh. $2022?
That is incorrect, sir. It's been a long time, actually.
That was a wild guess.
2005 at Indianapolis. During that whole tire shit show disaster.
Sticking with the aughts with your questioning. Some mid-aughts questioning, 2 out of 3. As Meatloaf says, ain't bad, but as she says, ain't good. You like that one, didn't you?
I did like that one. So that'll take us right to losers. Aston Martin. Fernando Alonso couldn't feel his hands and his feet after lap 20, he said. He was having trouble with the feelings. That is an absolute disaster shit show. You've had this for a while now, and you still haven't got the vibration issue under any type of control. That is a disaster. I mean, that is an utter disaster. You can't just be retiring from the race because you can't get your crap under control like that. That's just a mess. So, massive losers for them. I'll leave it there because I don't want to start stealing a ton of. I was going to do another double, but
Go ahead. There's plenty.
I was going to say McLaren an absolute disaster. I mean,
embarrassing.
It's the second Grand Prix. Like, come on.
That was
the first Grand Prix. That's just not good. That's just not good enough, and can't be having that happen, especially if you want to be at the front of the pack here. So,
yeah,
disaster.
Oscar not starting a race on Oscar Sunday. Movies, not racing, but not a good sign. Not a good sign. Go back in history and see how many Oscars on Oscar Sunday weren't able to start an F1 race. That might be the first time.
I mean, he hasn't even started a Grand Prix this year.
No, and his home race on top of it, just complete and utter embarrassment to start the season and to end the 2025 season. Maybe this is just a massive carryover. It seems like just shit luck for McLaren. But we'll see. Yeah. This is going to be very telling how Oscar Piastri bounces back from this. Mm-hmm. Very, very telling. Mm-hmm. When he actually gets on track. All right. Listen, right off the gate, Esteban Ocon definitely screwed himself. And you and I, we'll get to that in a little bit, with that 10-second penalty. And a little bump and grind. But yeah, he was in such a good spot early in the race. Was definitely looking like this was going to be a double top 10 day, a double points day for Haas going in. His teammate did a lot better, but Ocon definitely got, I don't know, nervous. I don't know. I don't know what happened after that pit stop. It was just the rest of the race ended up being a mess for Ocon, especially after a really strong start.
That car damage ruined his day.
Yeah, I mean, his car damage ruined his day, and that was all his fault. That was an unforced error. So he did finish the race. Somehow qualified in front of Sergio Perez, who's just persona non grata beyond in that Cadillac. We'll get to that in a little bit, and of course, I gotta go with Williams. The only team left here that's the biggest losers, or at least Alex Albon. I thought he was starting, by the way, and all of a sudden I see him like up in pit row, and the cars are doing a formation lap, and I'm like, what? Why is there only one Williams on the track? So I don't know what happened there. Maybe I missed something at 2:00 in the morning here.
I missed that at 2:00 in the morning.
All of a sudden, he's not on track, and it just ended up being a complete disaster. For Alex Albon, who was, as he said himself, the car was terrible, and he was terrible. The whole situation was just terrible, and it's been terrible for Alex Albon for a while now. Again, just like Oscar Piastri, going back to last fall. And those are my losers. That puts us into winners. Cheese, what you got?
Franco Colapinto back in the points.
Mm-hmm.
The 10th for sure. Alpine's looking a lot better, especially with the Mercedes engine in the back. And Pierre Gasly's sick for Alpine. That's a double points day for Alpine. How about them apples? I mean, they were completely lost in disasters last year, but different power plant in the back, and the car's looking a whole lot better.
Absolutely. What a difference a couple months makes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you're also at the back. You get the most time to help design your car and stuff. So, that always helps too. But
and good for Pierre Gasly as well, finishing sixth. How about that? Absolutely
finishing sixth. It's absolutely huge day for Alpine. That's
huge.
It's a lot of goddamn points. Probably challenging your boys there for spot there probably at the end of the year for constructors. So
Yeah, no, they'll be in the end. It'll be now with Williams just looking like a disaster. It looks like it's going to be Haas Alpine battling for fifth this year, which is a major step up for both those teams. Whoever finishes sixth, it's a major step up for both those teams. Let alone having an opportunity to finish fifth. Though one of those teams most likely got to finish fifth by the end of the year. All right,
I give it to Carlos. Ninth.
Absolutely.
Getting that piece of junk Williams in the points.
Absolutely.
I mean, even after quali, and he couldn't get out of Q1 when James Vowles comes on and says, "That was great, Carlos." That's all the car has in it because it's a piece of shit. So, I mean, to get that thing and put it in ninth, that's huge. That's a big damn finish. That's big points for Williams, who doesn't seem like they're going to be getting a lot of those coming up unless they turn this car around in the next month or so. Those would be my winners.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Hajar, Sainz, and Colapinto were all served very, very well by the fact that the McLarens and Max Verstappen DNF or DNS, right? So those three, to be honest, Hajar, Sainz, and Colapinto would not have gotten points. But ifs and buts are candy and nuts, and it is a Merry Christmas for those three. With that, I got Isaac Hajar. Anytime you outperform Max Verstappen, mechanical issues or not, anytime you get your name mentioned before Max Verstappen on any Formula One show, just got to give it up to Isaac Hajar there. Hell of a drive, hell of a weekend, and regardless, he might have finished 10th or 11th if it wasn't for the other DNS and DNFs, but he did 8th, and you got to give it up for him for his first points of the season. And he looked, pretty strong, again, all weekend long. And Liam Lawson, the man who had his place taken and then back and forth, but Racing Bulls, like, maybe they're the team that could be really competitive for that fifth spot because they're looking excellent as well to start the season. So let me take a step back and say that, Haas and Alpine, as well as Racing Bulls, they're all, I think, competing for that fifth spot. And it's going to be a heck of a interesting mid-pack battle between those three teams. Because it looks like, I don't think Williams is going to get their shit together.
I can't argue with you there. I mean, they've proven that that's probably not going to be the case lately. So in the last number of years as well. So
rooting for Williams feels like what it must feel like to be like a Mets fan or a Jets fan, or as we often mention, all these teams that you get super hyped up before the season starts as this is their year, and it's never their year.
Cleveland Browns.
So Cleveland Browns. I mean, we can go around the world and think of all the teams that are like, this is their year. It's been 50 years. This is our year. It hasn't been quite 50 years. It's been 28 for Williams, but it's a long-ass time for Williams. A premier team once upon a time. For those of you who are new to Formula One, Williams used to be, really good. So, once upon a time. Anyway.
That only leaves one thing.
I'm sorry, one more. I apologize. With my Haas hat on, I didn't mention Ollie Bearman got a parade down freaking Broadway for this man. That was the closest we've seen him, anywhere close to the podium, finishing 5th. Got to give it up big time for Ollie B, because being able to hold off Max Verstappen for a while before he went out, he stayed in front of him for a while. And even holding off Pierre Gasly. He seemed at times competitive with the Ferraris, even though the Ferrari definitely finished well ahead. But he definitely did not look scared to be towards the front of the pack. And after last week and this week, he's becoming a point-scoring machine. And Ollie Bearman, he's going to be a top 10 driver this year. He's going to finish in that top 10. He's going to have one of those two non-top 4 spots. I'm pretty confident in that. And those,
I can't argue with you there right now.
Those, sir, are my winners. Which leaves us for one more thing.
I need to slap my goddamn for that.
And that is our slap of the week. Jeez. What are you thinking? Or is it up to me again? I love slapping.
I think we both agreed. I think we're not slapping. We're in China, so you're going to get kung fu or something.
Something. Chop to the neck.
Chop to the neck or something. Chop in the face. But I think we both agreed on this, and it's got to be the power unit choice that Formula One made here. It's not what racing is supposed to be. It's not racing when you're just hitting a button to get by or somebody. I mean, it's a little ridiculous. As Max Verstappen said, it's like Mario Kart. He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
I'm going to explode on this one because we're turning the cars, and we said this years ago. I think we got to go back like 3-4 years and listen to what a lot of people were saying, and we're video gaming these cars. We're turning these vehicles into video game vehicles more and more and more so, and this is like the next step towards that. So do we want to continue down this road? As Max Verstappen put it perfectly, we were talking about it for years. They're video gamifying the cars as opposed to these machines.
Max said this back in 2023. It was going to be a problem when the new regs were announced. 2023, he said the same thing. So it's not like this is like news or anything. A lot of people were talking about it then, but it's not racing. It's not what Formula One is. If you're just getting into Formula One and you think this is what racing is supposed to be, go back and watch some old races, and probably in the course of the 90s.
Yeah,
early 2000s, late.
You want to go
90s.
back? I would say the peak of F1 is like the Senna through Schumacher era. Really, that's what you want to look at, like the 87, 88 Prost, those days through like 2005, 2006. Definitely some surprise teams in there. There was always something interesting, and it's become much more static since, and I think everyone would agree, on that. This was supposed to, after coming off a very exciting season and then going right into new regs. And when you say new regs, this is just a completely different game. So, listen, there's got to be a lot of slapping going on, and kung fu chopping, karate kicks, and kangaroo punches to the face, and we'll have more. I don't even know. Might be dropping a kamikaze in freaking Japan. We'll see. We'll see what's going to happen here, because it is just a disaster. It is a totally new,
different race. It's a different kind of race.
Sport. And I said it last week, and it just felt like as soon as they opened the season, it just felt like a different sport. We talked about all the sandbagging and everything like that, so it was really hard to tell when we were in Bahrain what this was going to end up being, right? But it is what it is, and we're not going to be changing much now. So I think April off will really give the teams a chance to recalibrate things and maybe learn some tricks. How to drive these cars. Just like video games, Cheese, when they come out, like difficult video games. You're a gamer. You're a lifetime gamer. You know these things. Back in the day, we'd have to wait. Like, you get a game back in the day, and you have to wait for your Nintendo Power magazine, 2 months later, to get all the tricks and tips and the maps and the inside knowledge. And that's what it's like. So hopefully April, our modern day handbook that these drivers need, maybe they'll be sharing information amongst teams, which is probably be helpful, as, everyone's having the same issues, and there might be some collaboration amongst teams where we might not have seen it before. Or there could just be one team that gets it. It could be a total dark horse team that figures out a loophole in this process to get a little more power in the straightaways and it can shock everyone. That could be a racing bull, right? That could be, who knows what team it could be. So that could be the fun of the game. But right now, there's a lot of problems, and they have to be addressed. And if they're not addressed, it's going to be a long, cranky-ass season.
I mean, it looks fun to watch sometimes when you see the drivers passing and stuff, but they're not passing because of making a real move. It's because they have more juice because of the rules than the guy ahead and push a button and go by. I mean, that's pretty much what it was. So it's not real racing to me. Oh yes, you know what that means. Time to take that fantasy ride to that fantasy island of Green Trophy, where the beer flows like wine, the wine flows like beer, and that cannabis, oh yes, that cannabis goes as far as the eyes can see. Look at it out there, green and luscious. Take a little whiff. Whew. That air smells. And. So we take a little walk to the top of the hill, the casino at the top. Hit that casino square just like Monica. With our tickets in hand, are we cashing in or are we checking out?
Another week of gambling. So, yeah, a lot to talk about here. And just like I promised last week as we began, we're going to go through all of the winners on the whole board. And that means plus line winners, right? We love the plus line. I send you hundreds of different kinds of bets, and we choose them. Last week, there was only 4 plus line winners in the entire pool as far as straight either driver or team bets. And you, sir, picked 2 of the 4 winners. This week, there were 9 plus line winners on the board across the entire board. You and I, we each picked only 1 different ones. So, not a great week. Let's go through it. First of all, Cheese, you went buck wild on the box. So, you put all your cheese in the box. George Russell, Antonelli, Leclerc boxed. You didn't hit that. Russell, Leclerc, Hamilton box. You didn't hit that. But you did hit Russell, Antonelli, Hamilton box plus 200. That saved your day. You had Hulkenberg top 10, came in 11th. Just missed out on that plus 120. And Haas with the double top 10. You missed out on that. So overall, you made 50 Greeny buck. 550 Greeny buck bets. You bet 250. You won 150, so you lost 100. But for the first time since 2023, Cheese, you have the opportunity to go wire to wire because you are still on the plus line. Oh, you were the only one in the history of this program to ever go wire to wire, going up above and staying above water the entire time. You are at 5,120 Greeny bucks currently, even after the 100 Greeny buck loss, after the 2 for 4 week last week. So, I, on the other hand, also had Haas double top 10, lost out on that. I had Norris on podium. That was absolutely ridiculous. Probably should have stayed up till right before race time to make those bets instead of 3 hours before race time. But I didn't know if I would be conscious at the start of race. And that's why you wait as late as possible to make those bets because they just toss that one out the window. And then Russell, Hamilton, Antonelli. That was a straight plus 700. That did not hit, of course. So I bet 400 and I lost 235, so negative 165 on the day for me. Takes me further down to 4,655 Greeny bucks. I am below the ROI. You're above the ROI and about 450 or so Greeny bucks ahead of me. Already a 10% advantage. You keep moving up, man. Another 65 Greeny buck lead. Like a sprint race. Those little bits. 65 out of 5,000 doesn't seem like a lot now. But it's going to look like a lot in November. Let me tell you that much. That could be a factor. Or you could just be so far ahead, it's just not going to matter. We'll see. So those are our bets for the week. Let's go over all the plus line winners if you had them at home. We'll go in order of the highest payout to the lowest. Carlos Sainz top 10 plus 1,000. If you had Carlos Sainz plus 1,000 in top 10, that was a good pick. Getting 10-1 on that one. You had the straight of Antonelli, Russell, and Hamilton, which was plus 700. You had next Alpine, double top 10 for Alpine, plus 600. Neither of us had that, but if you did, that was a nice day for you. Plus 500, Ollie Bearman, top 6, plus 270. Pierre Gasly, top 6. Franco Colapinto, plus 450 in the top 10. And of course, we both whiffed on this, which was sad. And that was Kimi Antonelli, the pole sitter, plus 175. That was free money, Cheese. That was like, you pass go, you get your $200. That was your Monopoly money, and we both blew it. It was just sitting there. Kimi Antonelli plus 175.
And I thought about it, too. And I didn't do it.
That was just a bad move. Probably a late Saturday night here in the Northeast U.S., maybe a little too much partying going on, but we both whiffed. I was surprised we both whiffed on that. Usually the pole sitter on the plus line, you're gonna go with that. So that is our week of Greeny Bucks.
Well,
There's one more thing. Only one news story this week, and that of course brings us to our final segment of the evening, and that is in the news.
You beefed on it earlier in the opening. This is a spicy and meatball. But the FIA and Formula One announced yesterday that both the Bahrain and Saudi Arabian upcoming Grand Prix are canceled due to world events in the Middle East. No replacement races will be taking their places either. So the teams will just have the month of April off. I mean, I was thinking, could have maybe went to Imola or Portimao, but I guess maybe some of the logistic of things couldn't take place.
You're talking about bringing 300,000 plus people to an event, unless you're going to do like a closed course kind of thing where you just have no fans, which you could do. I mean, we're talking about extreme situations here. We're not talking about just stopping a race. We're talking about an extreme situation. Listen, we canceled races during COVID, 2020 and 2021. So, it's not unheard of. Races have been canceled before, so it is not unheard of. But to have a month off is going to be interesting. And again, tinkering around and seeing what they could do with the cars. But I think we're going to have a lot more information over the next week. And we're going to drop an entire in the news segment next week, in the off week for you, because there's going to be a lot coming in, because this is like global news now. This is mainstream news. These races being canceled, as you mentioned, it was on CNN, it was on Fox News, it was on ABC, NBC, CBS. So, BBC, news stations all around the world are talking about this. This is not an isolated sports situation. So there's going to be a lot more news about this. And, if there's anything huge breaking midweek, we'll drop a line for everyone. And if not, we'll update everyone as it comes in, because canceling 2 races like this is
big.
Quite epic.
Mm-hmm.
And we wish the health and safety for everyone in Saudi Arabia, in the United Arab Emirates, and in the Middle East in total. No one wants to see any wars or any bombs dropping or any unsafe situations for anyone around the world. So we send our love to all of our friends in the Middle East, and hopefully everyone stays safe. Those who are for peace in the Middle East, we send our love to.
Absolutely.
Yes. And if you don't, then you're on your own.
I got nothing to add on that.
You got nothing to add on that. Well, I'm sure we'll have another big spicy meatball to add next week. So we'll be bringing you that. And of course, if you have listened this far, then and you're not subscribed and you haven't liked the program and you haven't rated the program, what are you doing? Help us out. We
Where the hell haven't you?
Love to hear from you and be a part of the show. Don't be shy. We were shy fans. It's just 180 episodes before or go. And I couldn't even do like a promo when we started this thing. And now we're rattling off shows all the time. So, yeah, if you're like we were years ago, just get into it. So that's all you got to do. Always take that first step. Say what you got to say, brother.
Well, we'll see you guys next week for, I guess, a news special, or we'll come up with something.
There's definitely going to be a lot of news coming up next week as we head into Japan in 2 weeks. And as always,
stay medicated, my friends.
Peace.